Hey everybody, it's vlog time here on the channel, and I wanted to go over a topic that just kind of bothers me a little bit, and that is the concept of guilty pleasures. Now the dictionary defines a guilty pleasure as thaw spinach, drain excess liquid, pour 1.5 cups milk into blender jar, and this is apparently a cookbook. Anyway, a guilty pleasure is something that you like that you feel shame for liking. This is silly. I don't think that you should feel shame for liking anything. Well, I'm here to tell you that right now, today, that there are no such things as guilty pleasures. There are pleasures. There are the things that you like, and if you like them, that's great. And if you should not feel guilty for liking the things that you like. And if anybody, any of your friends or your family tries to make you feel guilty for liking the things that you like, well, then they're just kind of jerks. So I'm going to go over a few things that I like, that some might call a guilty pleasure, to show you that it doesn't matter. If anybody, nobody's going to think any less of me or any different of me, probably, depending on what I show, I guess, for liking some of the things that I like. But hey, you know, whatever. Like I said, I'm not ashamed that I like any of these things, and you shouldn't be ashamed to like any of the things you like. So let's dive in and see what kind of stuff I got. I should note that since this is kind of a video game kind of channel, that I'll keep in the list kind of video game related, but don't worry, there's lots of other stuff that isn't a video game that I like that people might think, oh, that's weird, you like that. But anyway, let's see what we got. I like weird controllers for old video game consoles like this QuickShot QS129N joystick controller thingy that you hold like you handlebars and you drive. And I haven't actually, and I probably won't feature this on a crap I bought video anytime soon because this one doesn't actually work, but it looks kind of cool. QuickShot also made this thing. This is the QuickShot QS126, and it's bigger than it looked in the picture or when I bought it, but it is also it's just, this is the pad that you go up and down, and A and B are on the sides, and it looks like maybe some kind of communicator. But I love weird controllers like this because they're different. They try something new, something I would never maybe have thought about, a way to play a game in a way that maybe isn't very good, but the idea was there. They were thinking, and that's fun. That's interesting to me. I also like getting weird and obscure games, just, you know, for fun to play with, including this gigantic box. You remember when PC games came in boxes this big? Because if you do, you're old. But Icarus, actually, I don't know if this game is any good or not, because when I bought it, I had tried to install it. This game came out in 1998. I bought it around 2004. But when I went to install this, my computer said, nope, you cannot install it. It has the Microangelo virus on it. So I have the Microangelo virus preserved on CD-ROM for, you know, as long as I guess I decide to keep this thing. But stuff like that, just the game would have been awesome, but that it has a computer virus, an old computer virus, saved on here forever. It's amazing. I love that kind of stuff. Dragon Quest Builders 2. I've been playing this game a lot over the last few weeks. I played the first one last year, really liked it. I actually took a big long break from it, finished it up this year, got this, finished the story, now doing the post-game stuff. If you've never played a Dragon Quest Builders game, it's basically Minecraft but with Dragon Quest stuff in it. It's got an actual story other than you just, I guess Minecraft probably has a story too. I just was too bored with it to get really into it. It's too much freedom, too unstructured. I like to have a little bit more structure in it. This game, well, really good, even though it's rated, you know, E10 plus. I'm 10 plus. And I really liked it. It's very good. I plan on probably, you know, getting a couple more weeks out of it before I try to do something else. But, you know, game, yeah, kind of for kids, but yeah, whatever. I still like it. Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Dragon Ball Fighters, whichever. It's a fighting game based on the Dragon Ball universe. I like it. I've you know, I'm not like crazy into it, but I've watched most of the episodes, not all of them. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not like some kind of crazy super fan or anything. But I like fighting games. I like Dragon Ball Z, and oh well, you know, I got the game, and the game's good too. I don't play it as much as I want to because I'm terrible. I don't play fighting games to get good and be like some kind of crazy online. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be some kind of the best warrior ever. Fighting game I play them just to goof around with, and this lets me do that. I like to play them with my friends, but my friends don't like fighting games really, so I basically just play this against the computer, which is why I don't really like Street Fighter V, and I don't have it here, but we'll pretend it's, you know, right, we'll pretend this is Street Fighter V for a second. That's why I didn't like it, because there's nothing to do offline. You have to play it online, and I like fighting games, but I don't like to play them online, which makes me a weirdo. People have told me that I'm wrong, because that's how I enjoyed, or how I play fighting games, which there's no wrong way to play a fighting game unless you're cheating or something, and if you're cheating, you're a jerk. Atelier Meruru. This one's a little weird. I kind of started it and then sort of petered out on it a little bit. I played the two games. I say the first two games because this is like 12th or 13th in the series, but I played the two that came before this and liked them. They were a little tedious and a little flawed, but I kind of like the idea that it's got like some light role playing, and then it's got a lot of like storytelling stuff. The time restrictions are really kind of annoying in this game, and they really want you to play it through multiple times, and I just see all these things back here. I just don't have time to play through it multiple times. Playing through it once, that's a chore sometimes, but I liked it, even though it's, I think, geared towards girls, maybe. I like it because it's a fun game. It's something different. It's something that I think is pretty unique, but it's enjoyable. It's fun. I like playing fun things. The Dame was loaded. This is, as you might be able to tell from the title, a game that takes place in the 1940s. I cheated, looked at the back of the box, but you are some kind of hard-boiled detective, and you have to figure out, you know, somebody got murdered, and you have to figure out who done it. And it is a fully filmed CG or adventure where you have to, you know, go around different places, talk to different people. It's pointy, it's clicky, it's an adventure. But I mean, look at these graphics. It's full motion video with all these people, all these ne'er-do-wells that you know, and you do stuff. I'm terrible at point-and-click games. I am horrible at games like this. I was not able to finish this without checking a guide because I am terrible at this kind of thing. I think I mentioned that once or twice. But still, I like doing things that I'm terrible at. Doing things that I'm terrible at, I don't have any expectation that I'm going to do well. So when I do well, it's a surprise. It's a fun surprise. If I do well, great. If I don't do well, hey, whatever. I got to, you know, experience part of this game anyway. I did cheat eventually. I went and downloaded a walkthrough, got to the end of it. Turns out I actually got most of the way to the end. I just didn't do some of the really weird, obscure things that I guess the aficionados of this game would probably not have been too surprised at. I was surprised at them because this is one of the first ones that I ever played. But still, I have it. Still have it, actually, somehow. Good game. I like bad games. I like games that are different, games that not necessarily critically acclaimed, not games that are broken messes, games that are maybe not as well received as some of the other ones, just because I'm going to come right out and say it, perfection can be boring. It really, to me, is boring to see something flawless all the time. Perfect things are great. Great games are great. I have a bazillion great games behind me. But the lesser known games tend to try different things, bizarre things, things that to stand out. I'm going to run through a couple of them here, and you can go back on my channel. You can find videos where we've played some of these. Someone's going to give a brief rundown of half a dozen here. Octomania. Octomania is a terrible puzzle game where you have to line up colored octopi on a grill, and then they disappear. Terrible, but I am glad that they gave it a try, and there's some interesting characters in this game anyway. It's fully voiced. That helps. I think I picked this up for like $2 at GameStop one day. Worth every dollar. Price is Right Decades. Price is Right is good. Price is Right Decades is terrible. You go back and look at the video, and I understand why they did some of the things that they did. You have to, all 4 players play the game at the front, where you do the pricing game, and then all 4 players play whatever game, like the one where the mountaineer climbs up the thing, or Plinko, or whatever. Everybody plays at the same time because they wanted everybody, I guess, nobody to feel left out. Because the way the regular Wheel of or Price is Right goes is that 4 people bid, 1 person does a thing, 1 person goes to the wheel, 1 person goes to Showcase Showdown. This way, it's a party game. 4 people do the thing, 4 people play the pricing game, 4 people go to the wheel, 4 people go to the thing, and it's great. It's fine. And it's got full voice. Doesn't have Bob Barker. Doesn't have Drew Carey. But yeah, that's fine. It does. It's okay. Squeeballs Party. Those are squeeballs. Couldn't tell you what a squeeball is supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be just little critters that do stuff. This is a bunch of party games, kind of like Mario Party, except if all of the games were trash. And that's not really fair to this game. Not all of the games are trash, just like most of them are trash. The bowling, there's a bowling game on here. That's kind of fun. The rest of them, not great. But they tried. Again, and this was one that we played during a all-night marathon one year, and it was absolutely worth it to play this at 2 o'clock in the morning where we didn't know what was going on anyway. Heathcliff, Fast and the Furious. Yeah, you can see I picked this up for $4.99 at GameStop. It's not too often you see a Heathcliff game. You usually see the knockoff Heathcliff, Garfield, in a billion games. Heathcliff doesn't get as much love as he probably ought to, but yes, he is older than Garfield. Not by much, but he is. This is actually a pretty poor racing game. You race around levels that don't really look like much. The collision doesn't work very well. But it is one of the few Heathcliff licensed things that you can find nowadays. So, that's something. See, look, hey, Heathcliff on the back. It's probably not worth the $5 I paid. But yeah. Ninja Reflex. This game is also not great. You have the Wii remote, the Wii U gamepad that you hold kind of like this, and you can throw ninja stars, and it's Mario Party, but it's ninja games, and that was one of them. You throw the stars, and then you have to catch dragonflies, or you have to do just other various ninja stuff. They don't work very well, which is probably why this game was $5 when I bought it. But it was when the Wii U was brand new, and they were trying to figure out how on earth they could use that controller for something. It didn't work real well, but yeah, they were trying, and I commend EA, Electronic Arts, for this. And finally, it's The Bachelor, the video game. I have never I have never watched one episode of The Bachelor. I still haven't. I played this game. You can go back on the channel. You can watch me and a friend of mine. We go through The Bachelor, which actually we played through the Bachelorette version, because they are both on here, spoiler alert. But this has very, very, I've not seen the show, to be fair, but this has very little to do with the show as far as I can tell. You play a mini game that has nothing to do with anything. The winner of the mini game moves on, or you gets points. Whoever gets the most points gets the chance to get the rose, and then you get an ending. Stuff happens. There's also a quiz in here where you determine how compatible you are with someone. It's weird. Then it's got my buzzer. It's got the I don't like it. It's really bad. It's kind of good because it's so good. It's so bad that it's good to kind of see that how bad it really was. I don't recommend that anybody ever get this game unless you just want to see the awkward scenes that are in it. Another thing I really, really like are these hint and tip books from in Nintendo's heyday, around the 80s. They were mass market paperbacks. They were had no pictures, none. They were just descriptions of, how the game worked and how to play it, put together by some guy. These are by Jeff Rovin. This is How to Win at Nintendo Games 1, 2, 3, and 4. Jeff Rovin is a sci-fi writer. He's written 10 billion books. Some of them, I've got a couple of his joke books. They're awful. Do not get them. But the NES game, How to Win here, I used to read these a lot whenever I was a kid, just because they were nice. It was nice to be able to read through a description of a game that I probably would never have the chance to play, and kind of imagine what it was like to play that game. And now that I actually have most of the games in these books, I still like going back through here, seeing what they thought of them at the time, which is just kind of fun to go through. I also have other games that are not, or other books that are not Nintendo based, including How to Master the Video Games, which has some strategies for arcade games, like Space Fury, How to Win Video Games, which has, again, this full of tips, tricks, and strategies, except this time it's in color. The Pac-Man Riddle and Joke Book, which is full of bad jokes, but I like it because it's like a time capsule, back of the 1980s. And in fact, I will give you a sample of the hilarity in this Pac-Man Riddle and Joke Book. Let's see. Knock knock. Who's there? Strawberry. Strawberry who? Strawberry nice on a hayride. There's also Pac-Mania. More Pac-Mania. These are just books full of cartoons with terrible jokes. Still like them because they're goofy, they're silly. They're not professional. Professional can be boring. This is definitely something done by an amateur who really just, I don't know what his thought process were by Haller Schwartz, who wrote both of these books, but hey, I got a copy of both of them. And we also have 2 of the Worlds of Power books that were novelizations of a couple of games. I only have 2 of them. I have Before Shadowgate and Metal Gear. These are novelizations of books, or of video games, of side stories with some game hints in them. There's no pictures. This is just books. But I love reading this kind of thing. I like reading what is essentially fan fiction for games that I played. I still like reading fan fiction now, even though most of it is garbage. Some of it is interesting enough that it's nice. It's interesting to explore ideas that maybe I wouldn't have otherwise. I also like these. I don't know. Well, this one in particular is a Little Golden Book. Sorry, a Golden Look Book, which is probably more legally distinct from a Little Golden Book. But this is Super Mario Brothers Trapped in the Perilous Pit. And the cat has decided she wants to help me present this one. Okay. So this one is a little storybook that stars, Mario, Luigi, and the princess as they go through the perilous pit. Of course, they don't seem too perturbed. There's Luigi eating his lunch in the middle of a sewer. Super sanitary. And hey, Mario just, eating some mushrooms that just happen to be growing in the sewer, which is super good for you. That's super healthy. But yeah, I do like these, these old kids books that sort of take these. This is maybe it is licensed. I don't know, but it definitely looks like it is not a licensed Mario product. And I do like the unlicensed stuff. It's like I said, with the weird, underappreciated, underrated games, is that this stuff gets more interesting whenever they're not bogged down with having to follow canon. Whenever nothing matters, you can do whatever you want, and that's why I like some of this stuff. it takes the stories in a direction you may not have ever thought about, and it's a little more interesting that way. This is a Raichu. Raichu is a Pokemon, which, if you haven't heard of Pokemon, wow, good for you. I have been a fan of the Pokemon games since the first one came out in the U.S. back in, a while, and that's when I was 50 years old, and it was a little bit of a young game. It's geared towards kids, geared towards 10-year-olds, but hey, what? I liked it. I enjoyed it. I played most of them up until Pokemon Black, which then I kind of petered out of the series a little bit. Played Moon, Sun and Moon, then I kind of petered out again. I haven't played any of the new ones since then, but I enjoyed it while it was. So I have a few, little dolls, little plushies of some of the characters, but I don't have any of my favorite, which would be Sandshrew. So, sorry, Raichu's great, Pikachu's funny, Pikachu's fine, but, Sandshrew, that's the one I like, and you don't really see too many toys of that one, and that's okay. Anyway, there you go. There's just a small sample of the things that I have that I like, that some people might say, ooh, why do you like that thing? And I could keep this up all day, believe me, but I'm going to respect your time and end this here. Do you have any pleasures that you think are guilty for whatever reason and want to get it off your chest that you like that thing? Hey, let me know. We'll, no judgment here. But anyway, as always, I need an outro.